Hello everyone. So now we are going to start the topic friction from the chapter Laws of Motion. I'm Sapna Soni, your physics faculty member to guide you in this chapter. Now moving ahead, the topic friction. So as you can see, everything would be just slipping and falling all over the places if it wouldn't for the friction. So what has happened? So from here, from this simple example, what we can say, as you can see, bull is sleeping, okay, or a falling. So wasn't for the friction. No, what is friction? So according to the Leonardo da Vinci, April 1452 to May 2nd, 1590. Leonardo da Vinci was Italian Renaissance polymath and painter, sculptor, architect, musician, mathematician, engineer, inventor, anatomist, geologist, cartographer, botanist, and writer also. So what they are saying, Leonardo great reputation in the science and invention also in posthumous based on the translation and publication on his coded notebooks in the late 19th and 20th century. His notable works are the world famous painting Mona Lisa, the last super Vitruvian man, Lady with the Ermine. In his lifetime, the addition to his famous painting, he was known for his engineering and for the colonnades, cathedrals, and engineers for a walls. So, what is a friction? Friction is a force by which of it opposes the relative motion when a body moves or tends to move over the surface another. What do you feel about that, students? It will be like a little bit messy. Whenever we are just moving up ahead on the surface or a floor, we are not slipping. Understood? Means a opposition offered by the surface, okay, to us or to a body. So it is a contact force we can say, okay, which is created by the surface. By whom? Yes, by the surface, okay, by which the body moves, okay. So because of the friction, we can say bodies start to move. So friction is a force. It is a what? A force by which or by virtue of which it opposes the relative motion, okay. So friction is the property, if I'm saying friction is the property which opposes the relative motion between the bodies in a contact. The point keep in your mind, students, this is a contact force, okay. And who's between? Like in the between the surface and that body. Whether it will be us, whether it will be something non-living bodies like a metal sheet, box, something else, acting tangentially to the surface. So here the another important thing is the force is applied which type? Tangentially, okay, to the surface contact. So what we can say, friction may be defined as the opposite force which comes into play tangentially between two surfaces. So force is a what? Or a friction is defined as the opposing force. What force, students? Yes, this will be opposing force, which comes into play tangentially. Okay, the now actually the properties or the characteristics of the friction is a what? This will be applied tangentially between two surface. What two surface? okay, surface, okay, of the body, and surface, okay, by which the body sliding or body tends to move. In contact so that it destroys the relative motion. Now a body is in motion and comes to rest due to the opposing force acting between the body and the surface in contact. For example, like I'm just taking this box. The 10 Newton applying force by the some external agent, like a person is trying to apply some force on this box in this direction. Okay, but the opposition offered by the surface, because it's too rough, we can see the opposition offered by the surface is 12 Newton. What do you think, students? Is the box will be start to move or not? Yes, the correct answer is not. Okay, the body not will be start to move. So it is a what? It is opposing force. Try to oppose what kind of a changement you want actually in this. The component of a contact force parallel to the surface in the contact of friction. So what is the meaning of that? The component of a contact force means here we are taking the box actually, which is a stable, in the stable we can say, okay, and our study is to actually observe this box, like how much it will be slide after applying some external force. So the component of a contact force is a parallel to the surface of the contact. Like as you can see, the friction forces are also applied tangentially, and this will be also tangentially. The direction is like we can say parallel to each other. Okay, directionally they are anti-parallel. Okay, but in the case of scalar terms, they are parallel to each other. Is the force that is created when two surfaces move or try to move across each other. The amount of friction produced during this process depends on the texture of both the surfaces and the amount of contact force that is between the two surfaces together. So as you can see in this both this short clip, the if I'm taking the static uh, scenario, the ball is start to move smoothly. Now from here, as you can see, the friction is the force that created when two surfaces move right to each other. Okay, and as you can see over, produced during this process depends on the texture of both the surfaces and the amount of contact force that is between the two surfaces together. As much more it will be doing rough, the body start to slow down. Okay, because the opposition offered by the surfaces are more, so the amount of friction produced during this process depend on the texture of both the surface. Is the like this body will be smooth or not, and is the friction is a little bit or more or negligible. Either friction is negligible, the body start to do sliding motion or slipping. Okay, but if the moderate, we will get the friction. So the body start to move and the rolling means translational motion plus rotational motion start to occur. What motion? Translational plus rotational. When you want to stop the bicycle, you press the brake. It shows that like because of the friction between the brakes and the wheels. So what you are applying, there will be a piston, okay, a caliper, wheel attached here, and brake pads. So what has happened when you like try to press the brake? These two slides of the friction, they will try to move by themselves, and we can say because of that the direction of the body which will be start to moving, this will be compressing to the wheels, and because of the compression what we are saying that the body will be easily stopped. सेंस ये है कि जब हम क्या करते हैं, व्हील्स लेते हैं और यहाँ पर हमने पिस्टन और कैलिपर लिया है, तो जब हम हैंडल को दबाते हैं, हैंडल दबाने के बाद में बेटा होता क्या है कि यहाँ पर जो व्हील्स हैं, ठीक है, व्हील्स भी क्या करती है, स्टॉप होने लगती हैं उस रबर पैड की वजह से। तो जितना अच्छा रबर पैड रहेगा उतनी ही अच्छी, उतनी ही ज्यादा अच्छी ग्रिप रहेगी टू ब्रेक द व्हील। ओके, नाउ different solid objects experience different amount of friction. An eraser on a glass top table will experience more friction than a coin, which will be experience more friction than ice cube on the same table. An eraser on a glass top table will experience more friction than a coin, which will experience more friction than an ice cube. Why it will be happen? As you can see, like different object we are taken here, like ice also. So what ice start to do? Ice start to do melt actually. Rubber, which is not actually we can say rubber also have a friction because it will be rough, and so they have very slow motion. So what do you slip and fall? Why do you slip and fall when the floor has been not mopped? Okay, what does it mean by that? Means when the floor is not completely mopped and there will be a wet surface, we can easily fall down. Okay, this is because liquid create a thin layer between the floor and your shoes, by which the friction is reduced a lot. We observe that many accidents during the monsoon because less friction and between the roads. Now moving ahead with some questions. We observe many accidents during in rainy season because more friction, less friction, no friction, none of these. Question is so simple. If you have seen this video from starting, you can easily give the answer. The correct answer is less friction. See students, no friction not be possible because it's an ideal case scenario. So why do we slip? This is because the liquid create a barrier between the ground and your shoes and makes the friction lot less. It is because less friction that we observe many accidents during the monsoon. Friction is always opposite to the direction of the motion of the body, perpendicular to the direction of the motion of the body, tangential to the surface of the contact, inclined to the surface of a contact. The correct answer is tangential to the surface of the contact. As we can see earlier, what is the friction? Friction is a property by which the relative motion between the bodies in contact and acting tangentially to the contact. So friction may be defined as the opposing force which comes into play tangentially between two surfaces so that destroy the relative motion between them. So why this friction occur? Like there will be some cause of that. So now we are going to start the cause of friction topic. The surface of any body appears to be combination of ups and downs, means elevation and depression. On placing one body over another, few of the elevations on the first body set into few like a depression on the second body. It looks as two surfaces interlocked with each other. Due to this interlocking motion of one body to another body is restricted. So, on applying the sufficient external force, the depression and the elevation of the removed so that body slides over the surface of the body. Hence, sliding or putting force encounters the frictional force, as you can see. Interlocking heavy like ejections and depression between. But if the smoothness is increased, as I told you, if there be a smooth surface, we can say a tiles, and by mistake the water falls, so it will be start to expand. So because of that, the the layer of that particular object is less than the body, so it will do like feel we will feel as it will be warmer actually, but it's not. So if the smoothness increase beyond a limit, relative motion begin zero becomes difficult or again becomes difficult. The greater the pressure between the surface, the greater will be interlocking. What is the mean of that? So students, as we am assuming like here is that sheet of rough. Uh, if we hold some kind of objective, okay, so the pressure between the surface means force per unit area, okay. Area if the small, the pressure will be large, okay. So as small the area is, as large the force is, we can say, okay, the pressure will be high. So we can say the force between, which force? Yes, you are right. That is a frictional force. So if the frictional force will be high, of course the pressure will be high. If the pressure will be high, that means interlocking. Okay? Means object wants to actually go, or we can say move. Okay, they want to move. But friction wants to stop. Friction what wants to do? Yes, it will be want to do stop the body. So the move and stop, okay, this will be occurring a kind of interlock between them. I hope you are understanding, student, what I'm just trying to say. So as the greater pressure between the surface, the greater will be interlocking. So friction is generally less if the surface are smooth, and similarly if the surface has a very rough kind of a thing, then for that friction is very strong. When the irregularities on the surface are completely removed, the molecules on either surface will come closer, and the adhesive or cohesive force between them opposes the relative motion, and hence the friction may increase. If the surface are identical, what is the mean of identical, student? Means same. Okay, if the surface is same in the nature, like a glass over a glass, okay, they are very smooth, okay, and we say that cohesive force increase. What is the mean of adhesive and cohesive? If the surface, like surface of one body, okay, and the surface of the second body, okay, will be same, then the applied force is a cohesive force, and adhesive if the both surfaces are in the opposite in nature. Okay, like we are saying, like adhesive tape, adhesive like feviquick. You have must seen about the feviquick. What it will be do they will just try to close that molecules of that, but like glue is other. Okay, so glue is other and material is different, surface is again different. Okay, that's why the things will be attract each other. So cohesive force increase, that increase in the friction. The work done in overcoming friction by the applied force may result in heat and cause short thermal welding between the surface. Hence, it's difficult to predict friction exactly. So, it depends essentially on the nature of the surface in a contact and normal pressure between the surface. Now, move on to some multiple choice questions. Friction is generally dash if the surface are smooth, A less, B more, C does not exist, D none of these. The correct answer is option 1, less. Next question is friction force between the two surfaces in the contact due to adhesive or cohesive forces between the molecules, only cohesive force between the molecules, repulsive force between the molecules, or both B and C. The correct answer for this question is A, adhesive or cohesive force between the molecules. Advantages of friction. So, the first advantage is that friction is very much necessary to produce controlled motion. What is the meaning of a controlled motion? Controlled motion is somehow related to the balance motion. Means we are able to move on the surface of the road because we are in the controlled motion. Whereas if I'm just taking an inclined surface which is a very smooth in nature and I'll just place a ball. So the motion is not actually controlled. The motion will be slippery. Okay, so that is the under control motion. Whereas if the surface is rough, the particles slowly move. Okay, it will do translational as well as a rotational motion also, and the motion will be controlled motion. So the surface in the contact will slip on each other without opposition in the absence of friction. Friction between the floor and the feet enables to walk safely. That is also the example of a controlled motion. Nails and screws can be driven into the wall due to the friction. Yes, exactly. If there is no friction, they just start to slip. Okay. Friction supports the finger to hold the object. Okay. If the we can't hold the oil actually. Okay, liquid things or slippery things we can't hold exactly, because there's no kind of friction involved in that. Moving wheels can stop due to the friction. Invention of the fire was also of the friction between two stones. If two stones will be rub each other, there will be a spark produced, and that spark is a nothing ignition by which fire can produce. Okay, we are just looking the vehicle, so vehicle have some wheels also, and as you can see this wheel of the force, normal force is balanced by the weight, so that is also the example of a balanced force. Friction is a greater on rubber surface. The grooves of the rubber tire are made to reduce the smoothness, okay, of the tire. And what is the mean of grooves? So grooves is nothing but like this. There will be a some these kind of a things, and as you can see there is a rough and inserted bodies like shape, this dramatical shape. As you can see, this will be providing the actually friction to the surface smooth, so that smoothness will be uh, we can negotiate. Our planet or the earth the rails into outer space. If friction was present in outer sphere, friction is absent in outer surface space. Due to this, planets continue railing in their space. As you can see it here, it's our planet, which is an Earth, we can say, okay, and which is railed into outer space. If friction was a present outer surface, okay, friction is absent in the outer surface due to this planet continuously railing in the space. Now moving the multiple choice question, the first question is, which of the following is not an advantage of friction? Friction helps to walk safely. Friction supports the fingers to hold the object. Fingers like moving wheels can be stopped due to friction. Wear and tear of machines increases due to the friction. The correct answer is wear and tear machines increase due to the friction. See, this is not advantages. So now we are moving with the disadvantages of friction. So the first is advantages. Friction is a disadvantages. Okay, so it produces many undesirable effects such that wear and tear between the machinery parts increase to reduce their life due to the friction. See, we are also known as like if the because of the friction, wheels are continuously losses their lifeline. Okay, if we are we are wearing the slippers. Slippers are sometimes or after a later few months, like the soles will be completely okay tear. So what is the mean of that? Friction have some disadvantages also. Some energy get converted into the heat, which goes as a waste. Okay, due to the friction. Large amount of power loss in machine and engineers, hence bring down their efficiency. Now moving with some multiple choice question. Friction is a disadvantageous because it opposes the motion, it increases the motion, it decreases the motion. None of these. The correct answer is it opposes the motion. Disadvantages of the friction. This friction is a disadvantageous because it opposes motion, hence produces many undesirable effects. Methods to reduce friction. How we can reduce the friction? So the first method is using lubricant. Lubricant means we can use like oil, okay, some kind of a slippery things, okay, to reduce the friction between the surface to contact thin layer of oil fluid in used. Okay, in general, the lubricant such as the compressed air, organic oil are used. Polishing. By polishing the surface, irregularities on the surface are removed, so friction decreases. Friction increases when bodies are heavily polished, such as this is due to the increase the adhesive or cohesive forces. Next, using ball bearings. Students, have you heard about this earlier? Like ball bearing is a what? So ball bearing we are using in a Silai machine also. Okay. Uh, have you ever seen the handles by which we are scrolling? There will be we are using ball bearings. Okay, and आपने देखा होगा कि जहां पर हम लोग क्या करते हैं छोटा सा रिलर जिसमें हम धागा लपेटते हैं, ठीक है, उसमें भी बॉल बियरिंग का ही कॉन्सेप्ट लगा होता है. The free wheels of the vehicle are provided with the ball bearing to reduce friction as they converted slightly friction into rolling friction. This is the structure of a ball bearing. By streamlining. So automobiles, aeroplane having special design, they are streamlined to reduce friction in the air. When they are in the motion, friction are reduced due to the air. Dash are the method of reducing friction. Using lubricants, polishing the surface, using ball bearings, all of above. The correct answer is all of above. Second, which of the following is wrong? Using ball bearing sliding, friction changes to rolling. Lubricant decreases the friction since intermolecular forces are weak in liquid. Overall polishing increases the friction since molecules come closer. None of these. The correct answer for this question is fourth. That is D. None of these. So students, this is all about for today's class. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. Till that, take care everyone and thank you.